Fight!
Hey guys, this is Versatile from VST Power, now hosting Project Phoenix Media. So this is the part 2 video of a 3-part video series that shows you how to successfully downgrade a NOR chip compatible Fat PS3, or it could be a Slim, from 4.66 OFW down to 3.55 OFW so that you can install custom firmware in the future. So this very first portion of the video, I'm going to use a microSD card, and it's 2 gigabytes, and we're going to format it as FAT32. And the reason why we want to do that is because I'm going to show you how to update your E3 flasher. So let's talk about that little portion of that first, and then later in the video we'll talk about how to use the E3 flasher to perform a dump, and then we'll go back to the computer and verify the dump, and then we're going to do a byte reverse, and then we'll reflash it back to the PS3. It sounds complicated, but if you follow this video, you're going to be a boss, and it's going to be awesome. So let's do this. So go to the more info section. I got a link where you can download some files here. And the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and format my microSD. So I'm using a 2 gigabyte microSD, which is more than enough. Maybe you got a different larger size microSD, that's perfectly fine. But go ahead to like my computer, right click that microSD, go to format, and then go ahead and make sure it says FAT32 here, and just give it a name. I just call it PS3 for now. Quick format is okay. Go ahead, click start, and format that guy. Okay, microSD is formatted, FAT32, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and double click into it. So now we're at the root. So in the more info section, I might have like different links, or I might have one master link. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it just yet. But there's basically 2 different types of E3 flasher update. There's a Samsung 10.28 update, where basically if you use that update, you can use the E3 flasher on unlimited amount of PS3 consoles. I only intend to do one console right now. So there's a separate update called the 2012-0105 update. So this update is nice because if you flash it to your E3 flasher, it allows you to make 3 dumps at a time. So it just saves you a lot of time. But from what I understand, it only works for one PS3 console. So if you have questions about the updates, let me know. I'm still doing research right now as we speak. But when I did my flashing on my PS3, I'm using this 2012-0105 update. So it's going to be a zip file. Go ahead, double click into there, and just extract that update.bin file into your microSD card. So basically it's microSD card. On the root here is called an update.bin. And that's it. So go ahead, eject that microSD card from your computer. So let's go down here. Eject that microSD. Eject it. Great. And then in this next portion of the video, I'm going to show you how to update your E3 flasher using this update, and then also how to use the E3 flasher and get some dumps. And then we'll come back to the computer later and verify the dump. So with that said, let's jump straight into the next portion of this video tutorial. Let's do this.
Alright, so in this portion of the video, we're going to show you how to update the E3 flasher. And what this update will do is once you have successfully flashed it, is it will allow you to take 3 backups at a time, which will save you a lot of time. And then later on in this video, I'll show you how to do the actual reading of the NOR chip to get your 3 backups. And then we'll show you how to verify the backups as well. So what I got here is switch 1 and 2 is down, 3 is up, 4 is up, 5 is up, 6 is up. MicroSD is already inserted. Let's go ahead and turn on the PS3. So let's turn on the power switch on the back there. Let's push the button on the top. And then here we go. Booyah. So we'll see that all 8 lights, LEDs are on. Great. That means it has successfully flashed and updated E3 flasher. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead. We're going to flip the 4, 5, and 6 switch down. So down, down, down. So only the 3rd switch should be up. And here you press the reset button. And we're going to be ready for the next step, where we're going to go ahead and do the reading of the NOR chip to the flash backup. One thing I do want to note is, how do you know if your E3 flasher was successfully updated? If you were to take out the microSD card, put it in your computer, you'll see it's blank. I'm going to skip that step because I know it's already took the update because I already updated it so many times before. But if you want to do that check, by all means go ahead and then come back to this portion of the video. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and let's start the backup. So remember, 1 and 2 is down, 3 is up, 4, 5, 6 is down. Let's press the start button. So it takes about maybe a minute or 2 minutes for each LED to turn on. And what this process is going to entail is basically each LED will turn on individually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once it gets to the 8th one, you consider that as your first dump. And it's going to reset back to 0. It's going to light up one by one by one by one consecutively until the second dump is done. And then it's going to reset and light up one by one again until your third dump is done. And then once you have all 3 dumps, what we're going to do basically is we're going to go on the computer. I'll show you a website. I'll show you some of the tools that you can use to verify your dumps. Because apparently, even though you have a good E3 flasher connection, it might be able to make bad dumps or something else is funny that's going on with your wiring or whatever. So it's always good to check out your dumps and verify them. Now, earlier before I had done this video, I was trying to get this process to work where it would successfully read the NOR chip and have each of the lights turn on. But my problem was I had the first LED on, and the next 3 were off, and then the 5th and the 6th LED were on. It kept on blinking, and I got that error code. So what that error code means is that your NOR chip clip is not fully seated, so you can't get a good read. And it took me hours upon hours to get that working. So I'll do another follow-up video that shows you what I did specifically to get my NOR chip flash to read properly and seat it properly. So we'll save that for another video. In the meantime here we see that flash dump number 1 is just about done. I'm waiting for the last LED to turn on. And then once it's on, booyah, I went back to 0 and now it's going to do the second dump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip ahead in the video. We're going to go to the next portion of this video where we're going to validate our flash dumps. But just rest assured that just wait for a couple more minutes. We'll get the second dump and we'll get the third dump. I'm trying to save some time, but you will see something very similar on your end. So once you get your third dump, just turn off your PS3, take your microSD card back to your computer, and we'll talk about the next steps. Let's do this.
Alright, so in this portion of the video, I'm going to show you how to verify your NOR dumps. Make sure that they're solid dumps, because the last thing you want to do is get a bad dump and then patch it, flash it to your PS3 and get a brick. We do not want to do that. Real quickly here though, here's a great tutorial guide. This is the basis of what I've done for my own mod. It's a really great tutorial. I have it in the more info section, and you can sort of read everything here. And this is what my 3-part tutorial series is based off of, basically. So that's a really good resource here. Okay, so let's go back. So let's assume that you successfully did a dump. So when you go to your flash drive here, so here's my flash drive, for example, it did these 3 files. It has a BK pps30.bin, a 31.bin, a 32.bin, and then here's an E3 flasher log that basically is a log, and we see that it says a lot of OKs, which is pretty good. So to help save some time, what I did before was I did a dump, I transferred the files to my computer, went back to the E3 flasher, did another dump of 3, copied those files back to the computer, went back to the PS3, and did one last dump of a set of 3. So basically, here's a folder here. I did a lot of dumps here. So like, for example, here's my set 1. Here's a group 1, 2, and 3. And this is probably overkill, but look at this. I have one set of 3, a second set of 3, and then a third set of 3. And then as overkill, I did another set of 3, another set of 3, another set of 3. And then for kicks, I did a set 3, a group 1 of 3, and a group 2 of 3. That's probably overkill, but I want to be damn sure that all my files are okay. So I think you might be okay if you do 3 dumps of 3. So like 3, 6, and 9. Okay? So let's assume you did that. In the more info section, I'll have a link to the tools that I use. And there's basically 3 main tools. 3 great tools. One is called HXDen, one is called NOR Inspector, and one is called the PS3 Flash Tool. So this portion of the video is going to be long because it's going to be talking about verifying your dumps. Because I don't want you to get a bad dump and brick your PS3. I sure in hell didn't want a bad dump and brick my own PS3. So I spent a lot of time on my own researching, and now I'm glad to share my knowledge with you guys. So the first program, let's go ahead and just right click it, and I'm using 7-zip. Let's just extract here to its own folder. That's fine. So when we run this program, basically what it is, it's like a hex editor comparison program, but there's only one feature that I really like to use, and it's called File Compare. So let's go to File Compare, and let's go to Compare, And there's two targets here, a source file and a target file. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to compare each dump with the next dump just to make sure that they are identical. If they're not identical, that means something is wrong here. E3 flasher, a cable's loose or something. We need to make damn sure that every single dump is 100% the same as the previous dump. So let's go up to my one of my folders that saved all my flash files. So let's go to my group 1, for example, and I selected BKPPS30. I'm going to compare it to the next one, 3.1. And it says the chosen files are identical. Great. Let's go back to it again. File compare, compare. And let's go ahead and compare it to the next set, 32. Okay, chosen files are identical. Great. And then what I did, file compare, is I compared my group 1 versus my group 2 set. So let's go into group 2. Let's verify this first file here. Okay, chosen files are identical. And then if you want to, you can keep on going and going and going. So like, for example, I won't go through the whole process, but what I did was I compared each of these to the previous set. And then I also went to my group 3, make sure my group 3 set is the same as group 2 and group 1. So that's probably a lot of overkill, but I wanted to make sure that all my files were identical. And at the end of the day, yes, they were. So that's what this program is for. Just a sanity check, just to make sure that your dumps are consistent and they're one after another, you know, the same. So that's good news. So that's how I use that program. So that's one program. The next program is called NOR Inspector. So let's go ahead, 7-zip, let's extract to its own folder, that's fine. And then just go into the NOR Inspector program. Okay? So what this NOR Inspector program is just a quick way to just make sure that your dumps are valid. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go into like one of my files here, like this file here. I'm going to drag and drop it into here. And what it's going to do is going to inspect the file and make sure that if you go to the status here, we see that everything is okay. Great. That's what we want. So that's what that program's for, just to make sure that your dumps are okay. And last but not least, what we want is this last program. It's called the PS3 Flash Tool. So let's go ahead, extract that to its own folder. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and copy one of my files here, one of the backup files. So I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to go back into my PS3 Flash Tool program and just paste it here, right here. And what we probably want to do is, well, I'll get to that later. So let's go ahead and run the PS3 dump checker. It's going to have this prompt here. Make sure you read these terms and conditions. So say yes, that's fine. First thing you want to do is let's update the program. So click on this down arrow here. And then go ahead, download the latest hash list. Okay, great. Download the latest CFG. Okay. Now let's go ahead and download the latest PS3 dump checker. So we're going to update this to the latest build, whatever that might be at the time that you get this program. Did you skip reading these terms and conditions? No. Okay, so now everything is updated. Okay, great. And also we go to the wrench here. This is what I have as my settings here, so we're good to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bkpps30.bin folder, or sorry, file, and I'm going to drag and drop it into the PS3 dump checker. And it's going to go ahead and check everything. And it's going to say a big OK. If it says OK, awesome. If you get like some errors, that's not OK. So what you probably want to do is double check your NOR clip, your E3 flasher. Maybe go to like the PS3 hacks forum, ask your questions to those guys. They can verify your dumps too and maybe give you some advice on how to fix it. But for now, OK, that's awesome. So do you want to patch this image? Say yes. It says all patches are applied. Click OK. And now we can exit this program. So the next thing, what you want to do is let's go back to my microSD card here and delete everything here. I already made a copy on my computer, so we're okay there. So I'm okay. I can delete all the files off the microSD. Let's go ahead. You see this bkpps30_patch.bin file? Go ahead, left click and drag it over here. We'll make a copy to my microSD card. Okay. And then last but not least, we're going to rename it. So press the F2 key, or you can just right click and say rename. And we're going to delete it so it just says bkpps3.bin. Enter. That's it. Make sure it says exactly like this. Now you can go ahead and eject that microSD card. So let's go down here, eject the microSD, and we're good to go. So what happened is when we patched the file, that was considered a byte reverse. It's just a process to allow to successfully flash onto your PS3 to get it ready for the downgrade process, is what I understand. So luckily, just to summarize, we did a dump, 3 sets of 3 basically. We verified the dumps to make sure that they're consistent and identical to each other. We using the NOR inspector and also the PS3 dump checker, we verify that the files are okay. And then using the PS3 dump checker, we use it to patch the file. And now we're ready for the downgrade process. So the next portion of this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the E3 flasher and actually start the downgrade flashing process. It's going to be a lot of good times. Let's do this.
Alright, so this next segment of the video, we're going to go ahead and flash the PS3. And actually, this is my very first time flashing the PS3. So I'm going to cross my fingers, hope everything goes out okay. So let's do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this switch down. So they're all down. The microSD has the verified, patched, renamed .bin file. So it's on the microSD. And I already did a fresh boot of the PS3, but just for safety's sake, let's go ahead and press reset. And then we're going to go ahead and press start. And now it's going to be in the process of going ahead and flashing the dump to the PS3 NOR chip. And I just hope to God that there's not going to be any errors. And it's going to take a long time. I've heard it's going to take 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So I'm just going to leave the video on. My battery started running low, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully we got some very good news at the end of this video segment. Let's see what happens, guys. Oh yeah, we are done. Here we are about 8 minutes later, and this flashing back and forth, that means the download to the NOR chip was successful. Hell yeah! So what we're going to do now is basically shut down your PS3, and we're going to put everything together, take out the E3 flasher and the clip. We don't need it any longer, and we're going to put everything back together. That's the Blu-ray drive, power supply, hard drive, and we're ready to have a lot of fucking good times now. Now we're going to go ahead in the next section of the video, we're going to go ahead and downgrade this even further to 3.55, install the QA flag, and it's going to be a lot of good times. So let's do this. Actually, I think what we're going to do is let's finish off the second part of the video, just show real quick of reassembling the PS3 back together, and then in the third video, part 3 of the video, we'll finish off, install the QA flag, install the downgrader, and all that good stuff, and show you how to install CFW. It's going to be a lot of good times. But let's go ahead, let's finish off this second video segment, and then in the third video, we'll show you all that other nitty-gritty stuff. So what I've done so far was I added new thermal paste, and then I put the motherboard back into the tray here, and I put these heatsink pads back on. So let's just do the easy stuff first. Let's go ahead and connect the fan, so let's not forget that. So I'm going to connect the fan right here. And then what we're going to do is let's go ahead and connect the ground connection. So here's the screw for that. And I don't want to miss this piece here. It's going to be a real pain in the butt if you drop any pieces into the case. So let's not do that, guys. So I'm going to go ahead, got all these different screwdrivers here, and go like that. Okay, cool. So next thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and put the screws all around the motherboard right now. So I just happen to know which one is which. So I'm going to make this a little bit faster. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do, just to help save some time, I will fast forward sections of this video, and if there's something significant to talk about, I'll certainly show that in the video here. Alright, so this right here is the little wireless card. So this wireless card just goes in the top there. So it just sort of plugs in like so. And then what you want to do is, there's a little spot right here, so just plug in the wire into this connection port there. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so let's just put that piece back on. Oh yeah. Okay, great. So now what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and insert the hard drive and get that out of the way. There we go, sliding in. Alright, it's in. Great. Let's put the caddy on. Okay, great. So we got the main motherboard section all set up. And what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and put on the Blu-ray drive. So let's get the Blu-ray drive. It's over here. Okay, so if I were to zoom in on this section here, let's see here. Right here, there's a little black tab here. So at least on my PS3 model, what we're going to do is we're going to take this blue data strip and just insert it into the tab there. So I'm going to go ahead and let's rotate the PS3. Alright, sorry about that. So let's go ahead, put the tab in, push it down, and that's it. Cool. Okay, and then all you gotta do is just plug in this power cord. So let's zoom out here. There's a power cord here. Just plug it in right here. Okay, excellent. Let's turn this around. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is put in the power supply. So just to showcase, let's just put in the power supply real quick here. Okay, so that's in. Plug in this power cord here, and then let me just flip it around for you guys here. On the back side is another cord here, so just plug that in. Okay. Alright, now let's go ahead and put in the screws for this. So where's my screws? Wow, this thing is heavy. And then there's just on the power supply part, there's a tiny screw, like, let me zoom in. Like right here. So you gotta put a screw in there, so let's go ahead and do that. Zoom out a bit. Okay, cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I left a part of my PS3 case in the other room, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video momentarily and we will recontinue. Alright, I'm back. So here we are with the top, so let's go ahead and put that on from the front. So, let's see here. Alright, we got from the top here, excellent, so let's go ahead and put the screws in. The one that says small, I do believe that needs to be the smaller screw here. So that goes there. Everything else goes around the side. Here we put in the hard drive tray. And then the last but not least, there is a little screw that goes right here. And that's where the tab is. So let me get that part of it here. You know what, guys? I don't know where I put it. But basically, there's going to be a Torx screw right here that goes right here. And then you just replace it with the tab here. And then you're good to go. And then also you can put on your hard drive tray. Like so. Oops, I put it in wrong. And then you're good to go. So that is how you put your PS3 together. So, sorry for that long portion of the video. When we go to part 3, we'll show you how to do the rest of the downgrade process. It should be a lot of good time. So, if you guys have any nitpicky questions, in the comment here on YouTube page, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Once again, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.